The body is resistant to corrosion. Even the fairly sandblasted specimens of the first years of production do not have any traces of rust. However, the paint quickly becomes cloudy and rubbed off during contact washing, due to which the car, especially black, loses its presentation somewhat. Polycarbonate headlights of pre-styling versions are also covered with a muddy mesh and often sweat inside. Decorative headlight washer covers are often lost, and the washers themselves can leak. The pre-styling Touareg was distinguished by rich equipment, full power accessories, dual-zone climate control, leather and wood trim. Traditionally for VW, this SUV has well-thought-out ergonomics, a well-organized driver's workplace, high-quality materials, and good sound insulation. However, the cars of the first years of production bear the time stamp. The plastic of the door panels is rubbed to the base, and the wooden lining is cracking. The Nappa leather on the seats is subject to wear and tear, but the Cricut leather is more durable. If the car was operated year-round in a large city or door locks and hinges were not lubricated during scheduled maintenance, there may be cases of wedging of mechanisms, as well as souring of the wiper trapezoid. On the Touaregs of the first years of production, there may be problems in the operation of the factory alarm due to poor contact in the door switches. On the first copies, many electronic bells and whistles refused, a rear-view camera, a keyless access system, keyless access to the passenger compartment and to the ignition switch, 4-zone climate control. The base engine for the first-generation Touareg was a 2.5-liter turbo diesel. It is very sensitive to the quality of the oil. In the case of using a left lubricant without VW approvals, accelerated wear of the CPG parts, as well as the cylinder head, is possible. Because of this, the motor may require repair after the first 100,000 kilometers. This engine used pump injectors that are sensitive to fuel quality and often require replacement by 100,000 kilometers. The legendary 5-liter V10 turbo diesel with a capacity of 313 horsepower loves oil, especially if it belongs to the category of long life, and is able to spend up to 3 liters from replacement to replacement. Under heavy loads, the engine smokes noticeably, and due to the high torque, the Touareg on copies of the first years of production required a bulkhead after several tens of thousands of kilometers. Later it was strengthened. Gasoline 6-cylinder engines with a volume of 3.2 liters are quite reliable, but over time they can upset their owner by stretching the timing chain and wear of the valve timing variator, which causes the phases to leave and detonation occurs. The defect is manifested by an extraneous diesel sound during engine operation and an increase in fuel consumption, and to replace the chains, it is necessary to remove the power unit. It is not uncommon for our fuel to have a failed fuel pump, especially if the owner has abused driving on a dry tank. More powerful 4.2-liter V-shaped petrol engines are perfect for this car. However, it should be borne in mind that the timing drive is carried out not by a chain, but by a belt, which, however, takes care of the planned 120,000 kilometers without any problems. At the same time, the engine was noticed in an increased oil appetite. A consumption of 0.5 L/1000 kilometers is considered the norm, especially if the driver likes high speeds and sharp accelerations. It is also important to know that the motor, in fact, is unrepairable. The cylinder mirror of the aluminum block has a special coating and does not provide for boring. There are practically no statistics on 12-cylinder W-shaped power units due to their low prevalence, but in any case they are provided with an excellent fuel appetite. With proper maintenance, the least expensive versions to operate are versions with a 2.5-liter diesel or 3.2-liter V6 gasoline engine. In addition, transmission units in combination with these engines last longer than with more powerful ones. Manual gearboxes are found only on basic versions with the 2.5 TDI engine. This box is quite reliable. Over time, only clutch parts may need to be replaced, especially if the owner has abused loads. The automatic transmission of the Japanese company Aisin is not so reliable, which is especially true for cars of the first years of production. If jolts are felt during shifting, bulkhead with the replacement of the hydraulic valve block may be required. At the same time, official dealers practice replacing an expensive assembly, which lovers of sharp starts from a standstill should take into account. Drag racing for the automatic transmission Touareg is contraindicated. The transmission resource can be exhausted after 15 to 20,000 kilometers, which is typical for the most powerful modifications with V8 and V10 engines. The Touareg is a serious SUV, Its high off-road potential is determined by the presence of a downshift in the transfer case, a center differential lock, both automatic and forced, and an optional rear axle differential lock. In the off-road arsenal, an electronic EDL torque distribution system, in some versions, an air suspension, thanks to which the ground clearance can reach an impressive 300 mm. Thanks to this set, in terms of cross-country ability on serious off-road Touareg, shot and toothy tires, is comparable to real Toyota and Nissan SUVs and significantly outperforms the Parquet, Mercedes M-Class and Infiniti FX. The weak point of cars produced before mid-2004 is the transfer case. Due to a malfunction of the center differential lock servo, the clutch was not fully unlocked. At first, the manufacturer recommended only replacing the motor and updating the software, but a little later, on the first Touareg, the Rizdaka assembly was changed. If knocks and shocks occur in the transmission when starting and stopping the car, the cause must be sought in the suspension support of the cardan shaft, and the official technology provides only for the replacement of the cardan assembly. With frequent off-road driving or simply at high speed on bad roads, the stabilizer struts and ball bearings of the front suspension wear out quickly, which last for 30 to 40, maximum, or 50 to 60,000 kilometers, up to about 70 to 80,000. Steering tips and wheel bearings will last, which, due to the large mass of the wheels, experience increased loads. The shock absorber struts and silent blocks in the lower arms will lose their effectiveness by about the end of the first 100,000 kilometers. But the rear multi-link suspension requires attention only after a very long mileage, over 150,000 kilometers. The suspension is sensitive even to slight wear of the rubber metal elements, due to which the wheel alignment angles, both front and rear, are violated. It is recommended to check the corners for almost every MOT, 15 to 20,000 kilometers. If you neglect this, the tread of expensive wheels will disappear literally before our eyes for several thousand kilometers. One of the fashionable features of the Touareg is the air suspension, which is found on many cars. Over time, it begins to pass air through the delivery valves located on each rack. Because of this, and also because of a failed body level adjustment unit, during parking, the body drops to the lower position, but after starting the engine, the pneuma restores its original ground clearance. It is best to immediately replace the failed valve or block, because when operating with a similar defect, the compressor experiences increased loads and may fail. But the air springs themselves are able to serve more than 100,000 kilometers without problems. The steering is quite reliable, however. On cars of the first years of production, power steering pumps often failed. The first generation VW Touareg has a lot of childhood diseases, but if the car was serviced at a company service and operated carefully, then it can last a long time. The main advantages of this machine are rich equipment and general thoughtfulness. And if we add excellent dynamic characteristics with outstanding cross-country ability, it becomes clear why it is popular both in the primary and secondary markets. The most profitable are versions with the 2.5-liter diesel or petrol 6. Of course, a thorough diagnosis is necessary at the official service station. Otherwise, a car purchased at half price will eat more than tens of thousands of hryvnias in the first months of operation.